My name is Claire Anderson, and the day my husband walked out on me and our 5-year-old daughter was the day I thought my life had ended. I never imagined that the man who once promised to love me forever would become the person who caused me the deepest pain. But what I never expected was this. The woman he left me for would eventually destroy everything he worked for. And years later, the same man who abandoned us would stand at my door, crying and begging for another chance. But by then, I was no longer the woman he left behind. 7 years ago, I thought I had the perfect family. My husband, Ryan Mitchell, and I had built our life from nothing. We weren't rich, but we were happy. We had a beautiful little girl named Lily, and she was the center of our world. Every morning, Lily would run into our bedroom with a smile and jump between us. "Mommy, Daddy, wake up! I'm hungry." Those were the moments I thought would last forever. I believed Ryan was my best friend. I believed our family was unbreakable. But sometimes, the person standing closest to you is the one hiding the biggest secret. The first sign that something was wrong was small. Ryan started coming home late. He stopped asking about my day. He stopped playing with Lily. His phone was always in his hand. But whenever I walked near him, he would quickly turn the screen away. I tried to convince myself that he was just stressed from work. I didn't want to believe my marriage was falling apart. Until one evening changed everything. I was preparing dinner when Ryan walked into the kitchen. His face looked serious. I immediately knew something was wrong. "Claire, we need to talk." Those 5 words changed my entire life. Then he said something I will never forget. "I don't think I love you anymore, so." My heart stopped. I looked at him, waiting for him to say it was a mistake. But he didn't. Instead, he confessed something even more painful. He had fallen in love with someone else. Someone I knew. Someone I trusted. My best friend, Madison Reed. Madison had been my friend for years. She had been inside my home. She had hugged my daughter. She had listened to me talk about my marriage problems. I never knew that while I was trusting her, she was waiting to take my place. When Ryan told me he wanted a divorce, I felt like my entire world collapsed. But I stayed strong because I had Lily. I couldn't break down. Not in front of my daughter. Not when she needed me. A few months later, Ryan married Madison. The woman who used to sit at my kitchen table became the woman living in my house. The house where Lily took her first steps. The house where we celebrated birthdays. The house filled with my memories. Ryan told me he wanted a fresh start. But his idea of a fresh start was leaving me and our daughter behind. One night, he came to my apartment and said, "Claire, I think it's better if Lily stays with you. Madison and I want to start our own family." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. He wasn't just leaving me. He was choosing to leave his own daughter. I packed our things that night. Not because I wanted to leave. Because I had no choice. After the divorce, I went to my parents' house. I thought at least there I would find comfort. I thought my parents would open their arms and protect me and Lily. But when I arrived, my mother looked at me with sadness. "Claire, you can stay here." For a moment, I felt relief. Then she continued. "But Lily, we cannot take responsibility for her." I felt like the ground disappeared beneath my feet. I looked at my daughter. She was holding her little backpack and watching us silently. She didn't understand why adults kept choosing to leave her. That moment changed something inside me. I took Lily's hand, and I walked away, because even if the whole world rejected us, I would never reject my daughter. The next few years were the hardest years of my life. I worked 2 jobs. I cleaned houses during the day and worked at a restaurant at night. There were nights when I cried quietly after Lily fell asleep. There were moments when I wondered how I would survive. But every morning, Lily would smile at me and say, "Mommy, you're my hero." And those words gave me strength. I didn't become strong because I wanted to. I became strong because I had someone who needed me. Meanwhile, Ryan's life looked perfect from the outside. He and Madison lived in luxury. They traveled. They bought expensive things. Everyone thought Ryan had made the right choice. But behind closed doors, things were very different. Madison slowly started changing. She became obsessed with money. She wanted control over everything. First, she convinced Ryan to put their house in her name. Then she became involved in his business decisions. Every time Ryan questioned her, she would say, "If you really love me, you'll trust me." And Ryan, blinded by guilt and his desire to prove he had chosen the right person, agreed. He gave her everything, the same way he once gave me nothing. 5 years passed. By then, I had rebuilt my life. I had a stable job. Lily was doing amazing in school. She had grown into a kind, intelligent young girl. We didn't have everything, but we had peace. Then one afternoon, I received a phone call. It was Ryan. His voice sounded different. Broken? Claire, I need to talk to you. I almost didn't answer, but something in his voice made me stop. When I met him, I barely recognized him. The confident man who left us was gone. He looked tired. Lost. Then he told me the truth. Madison had taken control of everything. The money, the house, the business. And when there was nothing left to take, she left him, just like he had left me. Ryan looked at me with tears in his eyes. I lost everything because I thought I was choosing happiness. I stayed silent. Then he whispered, I lost the best thing I ever had. You and Lily. For a moment, I remembered the woman I used to be. The woman who would have done anything to save our marriage. But she was gone. I had become someone stronger. I'm sorry, Claire, Ryan said. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I need you to know that leaving you was the biggest mistake of my life. I looked at him and said, Ryan, sometimes people only understand someone's value after they lose them. But some losses happen because of choices. He lowered his eyes. Because he knew I was right. Today, Lily is older. She knows the truth about what happened. But she also knows one thing. She was loved. Not by everyone, but by the one person who mattered most. Me. Because when the world gave me reasons to give up, my daughter gave me a reason to keep going. And that is the greatest lesson I ever learned. Sometimes losing people who hurt you is not the end of your story. Sometimes it is the beginning of finding yourself